Hello everyone, oro wanyu, como esta, habari zenu, konnichiwa, and all the other greetings. It is Kenyan Hippie back with a new video. I hope you guys are doing okay, hanging in there. I saw a video from a woman we've become a little more familiar with recently, and I thought I would stitch it. It inspired a thought I've been having for a while now, so let's dive right into it.
I'm a strong female, and you know that, but I also, and I have full respect for other alpha females out there, but there is a time and a place to be an alpha female. And when you're in a relationship, you are not in competition with your other half, and you're not in competition with them from the standpoint of who's in charge.
So how do you talk to boss babes out there? They're like, I'm never going to be able to find a man.
They need to, first of all, humility is huge in that standpoint, but second of all, the whole boss babe culture is so toxic. It's so toxic. And it even talks about in scripture how 2 oxen can carry a heavier load. You cannot do it all by yourself. And for women out there who think they don't need a man or don't think they need someone to help them pursue further in life or to have a more complete fulfillment of themselves, I have seen it firsthand living in Manhattan, where women who are in their late 30s, early 40s, their life was their career. And there's nothing wrong with that, because my mom was a career-oriented woman and career-oriented mom. But you sacrifice a lot of things, and then by the time you're in your 40s, you're bitter, you're frustrated, you feel like you missed out, and you feel like you are behind the curve, and then you just are, tainted.
If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And if you just happened to come across my video or my channel for the first time, thanks so much. I hope you're gonna give me a thumbs up and you're gonna stick around and learn something and maybe subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about the boss babe or the alpha female culture. And before mushike feelings, don't catch the feelings. It's going to be, I feel I did a good job balancing out the negatives, the positives, the pros, the cons, and let's just talk about it, okay? And as a self-identified alpha female, so that you guys know where I'm coming from. I'm not just getting this out of the blue. I have lived the life. I do live the life. But then I also understand the meaning of letting go sometimes. You might call this culture girl boss, boss babe, fempreneur, or just simply the hustle-obsessed female leader. We're going to be talking about what boss babe culture is, how it impacts women, both positively and negatively, and most importantly, how my personal experience taught me to break free from always being in my masculine energy and finally allowing me to embrace my feminine, softer side. What is a boss babe? Essentially, this term refers to a woman who's basically killing it in a professional way, that either as an entrepreneur or as a career woman. She's ambitious, she's driven, she does not settle. When it comes to chasing her dreams, she's all in. And it sounds empowering, right? In many ways it is. It's a movement away from waiting to be chosen or waiting to be cared for, and toward building an empire, making money and paving our own paths. But boss babe culture has evolved beyond just empowerment. It's become a set of certain expectations. Always hustling, always on, always striving for perfection, the next step, even if it costs our well-being. Social media sells us this version of success, where the designer heels, perfect routines, #girl power memes. But behind that aesthetic, there's often a lot of exhaustion, anxiety, and sometimes even a loneliness that no amount of achievement can fill. Here is where this gets complicated. While boss babe culture encourages ambition, it can also be very toxic. It tells women that our worth is tied up in our productivity. Your worth comes from how much you can accomplish. That's a very negative energy. Our Instagrammable grind proves our worth and our ability to do it all without anyone's help. That's a big one. There's a little space there for vulnerability, softness, or needing any support. And overachievement becomes a dysfunctional coping mechanism, a way to compensate for low self-esteem or some kind of trauma. For many women, this ideally means living in your masculine energy, which involves planning, executing, leading, and rarely resting because you're always on the hustle. You're always on, you're always going for it. It leaves us disconnected from our natural femininity and from receiving true support because you want to do it by yourself because you're a boss babe. Got this. We become hyper independent, and not because we always want to be, but because deep down we don't trust anyone else to carry the load. This can be especially true for firstborns or women who grew up with unreliable partners or unpredictable environments. So we learned to do everything ourselves. I know this firsthand. In my first marriage, I was with a man who did not lead, would not step up, and would leave me to handle everything. The household, the mental load, planning, every single thing. The babies. I was by myself. If I heard of a single married woman, I know some people get triggered by that term, but it is what it is. It's when you're with a partner who's just not present. They are there, their body is there, but their spirit is not. They're not willing to be a partner. They're not willing to share, especially again, the mental load. The planning takes such a toll on our mental health, but you have to do it yourself if they're not going to step up to it. So I not only handle the household, but also the finances, but also the emotional labor, the mental labor. So I became very hard, very sharp, and never got to relax to my softness because honestly, there was no one to catch me if I did. I will say, I feel like part of my hyper independence definitely comes from being a firstborn. I have 3 siblings that follow me, and it comes without saying that there are a lot of expectations set on the firstborn, especially in African communities, in African countries. I grew up in Kenya, and it's, oh, take care of your siblings, look out for your siblings. Whenever there was no nanny in the house, I had to step up, so I learned to take care of the house at an early age. So since then, I've just had this take control mentality. Something needs to be done, I do it. Because if I don't do it, then I have to delegate. And I don't always like to delegate because, again, control issues. So I prefer to control my environment as much as I can, which leads someone to become kind of a type A personality, which we can talk about another time. So it's important for me to state that boss babe culture is not always all bad. It is not all bad. It has given women a seat at the table. It has helped us smash those glass ceilings and challenged outdated gender roles. Boss babes have inspired younger women and continue to inspire younger women, advocate for equality, and build supportive communities. Many of us develop grit, resilience, creativity, and confidence. Valuable traits we would not have discovered if we were waiting to be rescued. The movement has inspired women to move away from passivity. We know how to make money, start businesses, and speak up for ourselves, which are all important skills, especially in today's world. Another reason I feel like that inspired this in me is my mom. So I grew up in a nuclear family, my mom, my dad. My dad is a retired engineer. My mom is a retired teacher and principal. They both went to work. I remember my mom waking up so early in the morning to get ready, go and teach, and come back home, do whatever she needed to do. Because again, my brothers were super young. They're Irish twins, essentially. And she had to come back home and pump or breastfeed, run back. So I always had this admiration for how hard she worked. But not only that, she always had a side gig. To this day, she has side gigs. She's retired, but she does not stay still. This woman is always moving. And I really believe she's influenced me quite a lot in that respect. So even if your man is bringing in the money, no matter how wealthy he is, have something for yourself. There are so many reasons why this is important. I will get into that, I guess, in a different video, but I have seen so many women getting stuck in certain situations, whether it's because their spouse passed away unexpectedly or they got injured, and before the compensation kicks in, you're in a messy situation financially because you have no skill. And yes, being a stay-at-home mom is absolutely a job. It's a full-time career, but that's not going to pay the bills. And I have seen women getting stuck in situations where they have no financial backup. Which is, again, why I'm a huge advocate for women having their own thing on the side. For a rainy day, I do feel grateful for my mom who taught me to always have a little side hustle because you never know. For so many women, boss babe is actually a mask. It's a shield that is built because trusting others has felt unsafe in the past, even multiple times. It's especially true if we've given our power to very unreliable partners in the past, or we were raised to believe that we had to do it all. Hyper-independence is often not a choice, but a survival strategy, especially for eldest daughters or women who are to grow up fast. We glorify strength and independence, but for many, it comes from a place of wounding. The result? We struggle to let anyone take care of us, we struggle to ask for help, and we stay stuck in a masculine overdrive. So is there a way out of this? Absolutely. My turning point wasn't just personal healing from this. It was marrying a man who genuinely wanted and was capable to lead, to share the load, and to be chivalrous and strong when I needed it the most. For the very first time, I felt safe enough to let go of control, which is a lot for me because I do not do that. And to let someone else plan, provide, and hold space for me. I'm talking about my current husband.
Let me tell you how this is gonna work. You ain't gonna tell me shit. Listen, suck my shut up, listen to me. Suck my you man. Listen, suck my you will be here in the court on Monday. You'll be here sucking my well, listen to me now. Yourself.
Oof, even to this day, because he knows I do not ask for help. It takes so much in me to ask for help. I think a big part of me, I do not like to feel like a burden. I don't like to feel like an inconvenience. So if I sense in the smallest way, I am sumbuaing you, or I'm bugging you, or I'm being an inconvenience, I will distance myself so much from you. To this day, my husband just anticipates when I need help. He has found a way to work with me in my hyper-independence and just say, babe, I've got this. Because I won't just go in, oh, baby, even when I'm having a crisis and something happens, my first thought is not, let me call him and vent. My first thought is, how do I figure this out? And normally I will figure it out before I even tell him what's going on. When I'm calling him to tell him what's going on, I already have a plan in the process. I already have a plan in motion. I have a strategy to solve the issue. And it is embedded in me. He is absolutely capable. He helps me brainstorm ideas. But from the get-go, even just something as simple as planning a date. You guys know, women know, okay? I know a bunch of women who are married to men who just they make zero effort in planning or taking the first step to do anything or initiating a date, planning for the date. And for me, when I met my husband and we were in the dating phase, he did not tell me where we were going, what we were doing. It was a little bit stressful for me because, again, I'm always the planner. I always know what's going on. I'm on top of everything. So for him to call me and say, hey, I'm going to be leaving work. I'll be there at, 5:30, let's say, from the gym. Be ready. So I'm like, okay, what do you want me to wear? Something comfortable. Like, I don't know what that means. He said, don't wear heels. You can wear a dress, just make sure it's comfortable. So in my mind, I was thinking, are we doing something sporty? He did not want to tell me anything outside of those small things. So part of me was so excited because I didn't have to worry about childcare. I didn't have to worry, do I need to call the restaurant? Everything was taken care of. That's the alpha male energy that a woman like me or a hyper-independent or an alpha female needs to feel safe. That time, I'll give another example. We had a financial crisis and all our money had been sunk into things. It was actually, we were getting married in Kenya, and as you can imagine, weddings are not cheap. We had a lot of money tied up. And at the very last minute, something happens with our air tickets. It's Biden's fault. Long story. And we had to make plans, alternative plans to get new tickets. The travel agent was being very, 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 very difficult to work with. And in this situation, in the past, it would have been up to me and in my previous marriage to figure out the plan, the financial plan of how we're going to get the money we need to get new tickets. My husband took care of it. Let me tell you all, that was one of the first times I just felt, oh my God, I can count on this man. And I told him, you were not being tested, but you passed the test. You really did, because you came through. I didn't have to stress about it. I mean, of course, I was stressed because we were both in the situation, but the fact that he jumped and took care of it, I will always be grateful to him. But that's just those are just a few examples of showing you that there are way more aspects outside of you letting loose and being in your feminine than deciding to do so, because you become hyper independent and hyper masculine, not because you want to, but because you have to. So a lot of it has to do with the partner you choose and setting the expectation that I need you to be this person for me. And it's easy to tell when someone cannot step up to the plate. I'm not saying they should take care of you financially, unless you do want that to be the case. In the future, when you marry or settle down together, it just means mental load and planning. It's usually the invisible labor that really stresses women out. This is not just about finding the right partner. It's about being willing. Outside of finding the right partner, getting into your feminine has to do with being willing to break down your walls. Like I said, it's very tricky. I know this for a fact. To trust and to relinquish the mental load. And it takes a lot of practice to do this. It requires courage. It requires vulnerability. And a belief that being cared for does not make you look weak. It does not make you weak. It makes you whole.
Rejected by a matchmaker this week. You wouldn't be able to work with me. She essentially said that I am not ready for her type of services because I have too much work to do. My walls are too high and I'm not ready for a long-term committed relationship at the ripe age of 38, where I have been in therapy for 10 plus years. She also said that she's too woo for me, which I can accept that. That's fine. However, I shouldn't need to be a woo type person to be worthy of love. She also said that I need to soften a little bit. And men like a softer woman. Have her tell me I am not worthy of love as I am, but the fact that I need to change in order to be worthy of love and partnership. Which honestly, I think for that reason alone, she should have her matchmaking license taken away, because we shouldn't be pushing on these narratives that people are not worthy as they are.
First, let's get something straight. Everyone is worthy of love, but not everyone is ready to love. Now, you went to a matchmaker and you told her, I'm an alpha and I'm looking for an alpha. I saw people in your comment section saying that's not possible. But yes, it is. What the matchmaker wasn't able to relate to you in words is that you cannot be a prideful alpha and date an alpha. If you are prideful, you will have walls and you will be unwilling to submit. In order for a relationship to be successful, whenever there is confrontation, somebody has to submit. It's always easier for betas because they are okay with contentness. Alphas are always striving for progress. If you are an alpha dating a beta, you are more willing and probably better suited to lead, and a beta will be more willing to submit to that. If you are an alpha looking for an alpha, you can't dominate another alpha. You said that you are high-strung, high energy, and that betas are doormats and that you would chew them up and spit them out. What that says about you is that you are not a patient person and that you do not allow for many mistakes. It is impossible to have a successful relationship if you are not allowing yourself to go through the growing pains that are necessary to adapt to somebody. And the only reason why people put walls up is because they are afraid of that pain. When your matchmaker was telling you that you aren't ready to date somebody because you need to be softer, what she was trying to say is that you need to allow yourself to put your walls down and go through the growing pains that are necessary. Efficiency in an alpha and alpha relationship is not who can assert their dominance and lead the soonest. Efficiency in that type of relationship can only occur when you can both be vulnerable with each other.
I believe the boss babe culture has helped a lot of women realize their power. But true empowerment comes when we can finally set down the load we've been carrying alone and know that we are safe and supported and celebrated. And not just for our hustle, but for our wholeness. So here's your reminder. You do not have to do it all to be worthy. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to let yourself be cared for. if this resonated with you, or you are a self-proclaimed boss babe or alpha female like myself, let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you have navigated these waters before, if you can like kind of relate to this. Are you a firstborn? Have you just been with very unreliable partners and you've been forced to take up this role? Let me know in the comment section. Share your story with me. If you stayed to this point, I know it's a longer video, but if you stayed to the end, I really thank you. I hope you will like, comment, subscribe, and share, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload a new content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Kenyan Hippie out.